The night bled into an eerie silence as the wind carried whispers across the abandoned village of Alban Hollow, a place long erased from maps and memory. Only the desperate and the damned found their way there. And tonight, one such soul had arrived, Dr. Ethan Crow, an archaeologist obsessed with forbidden texts. He had spent years chasing rumors of an ancient ritual said to summon knowledge beyond mortal reach. Legend spoke of the Black Prayer, a ceremony performed once every century to awaken something that slept beneath the earth. When he found the final clue in a decaying monastery, a torn page with strange runes scorched into the parchment, Ethan knew he had to see it for himself. The moon hung low and red, and as he stepped into the ruined chapel at the heart of the village, he could feel the air pressing in on him, thick and metallic like blood. Inside, rotted pews were scattered, candles melted into warped pools of wax, and on the altar, carved deep into the stone, was the symbol he had seen in the manuscripts, a circle of 7 serpents devouring one another. His heart pounded as he traced the grooves with trembling fingers. The walls seemed to pulse, the shadows flickering unnaturally, as if the dark itself was breathing. He told himself it was his imagination, the nerves of discovery, but deep down, he knew he was not alone. The ritual, he remembered, required an offering of truth, blood, and faith. He had all 3, or so he thought. He placed the candles in their positions according to the runes, and began to chant the words he had deciphered from the text. They rolled off his tongue like venom, alien and ancient. The air grew colder, and the faint sound of whispering began to swirl around him. The walls darkened, veins of black spread across the stone, and Ethan's breath came in short bursts. He pressed his hand against a dagger and sliced across his palm, letting blood drip into the center of the sigil. The ground quivered. The whispering grew louder, overlapping voices speaking in tones that twisted in his skull. Then, suddenly, the candles extinguished. Silence. His blood dripped in the dark. For a moment, nothing happened. Then a low hum began to rise from beneath the chapel floor, followed by a sound like tearing fabric, a dimensional rift splitting reality itself. Ethan stumbled back as the stone cracked open, revealing something moving beneath it, something that glowed faintly red like burning coals. A stench of sulfur filled the air. He stared into the fissure, frozen, as an enormous eye blinked open within the darkness, staring directly into him. His mind screamed, but his body couldn't move. The air pulsed, and a voice echoed, not from around him, but inside his skull. "You called," it said. "You bleed. You offer. I awaken." Ethan's rational mind shattered. He fell to his knees, clutching his head. "Who are you?" he cried. The voice laughed, a deep, resonant sound that shook the room. "Names bind. You will not speak mine, mortal. But you will serve." The fissure widened, and black smoke erupted outward, taking shape as a tall, shifting figure that resembled a human shadow with burning eyes. Ethan tried to back away, but his body refused. The figure extended a hand of smoke toward him, touching his forehead. Visions exploded in his mind, of ancient temples drenched in blood, of countless souls chanting under eclipsed moons, of an endless void filled with faces screaming in agony. He saw humanity repeating the same ritual across centuries, each time believing they could control what they summoned. Each time they became vessels. The shadow's voice whispered again, "Every offering becomes a door. Every seeker becomes the key." Ethan screamed, but his voice turned to static. His body convulsed as the figure poured itself into him, merging with his flesh. His eyes rolled back, and his veins turned black. The chapel trembled violently. Outside, the wind howled as the once dead village seemed to awaken, the ground shifting, the trees bending unnaturally, the air humming with energy. When Ethan opened his eyes again, they glowed crimson. The figure was gone, but its presence filled him completely. He was no longer Ethan Crow. Days later, a group of local teenagers exploring the area stumbled upon the chapel. They found the candles still burning, though no one had lit them, and the blood circles still wet. One of them, a girl named Sarah, swore she heard whispering when she stepped closer to the altar. "Let's get out of here," one of her friends whispered, but curiosity rooted her feet. When she looked down at the cracks in the floor, she saw something move beneath them, a flash of red, like an ember. Then the whisper turned into words, "You found me." The floor split, and darkness surged upward, swallowing her scream. Her friends ran, but only one made it back to town, muttering incoherently about shadows and eyes and a man standing inside the chapel with blood dripping from his hands. The police searched the area, but found nothing. No chapel, no blood, no trace of the village itself. It was as if Alban Hollow had never existed. Years passed, but the legend persisted. Travelers along the old forest road claimed they could see a faint red glow deep among the trees when the moon was full. Some said they heard chanting. Others swore they saw a tall figure watching from the edge of the woods. Every few years, someone would go missing, their belongings found scattered near the same stretch of road. No bodies were ever recovered. Ethan Crow's notes, recovered from his abandoned house, contained fragmented passages about the ritual. One entry read, "The truth is not knowledge, it is hunger. The thing beneath the earth is not a god, but a void that craves worship. Every mind that seeks it feeds it. I am already becoming what I sought." Scholars dismissed his writings as delusion. But one man didn't. Father Gabriel, a priest who specialized in exorcisms, took interest after a rash of disappearances in the nearby towns. He followed the trail to the forest, and eventually found what looked like the remains of an old chapel foundation. Beneath the stones, he uncovered a single slab carved with the serpent circle. When he touched it, it felt warm, as though blood still pulsed through it. That night, he set up camp nearby and began reading prayers to cleanse the ground. But as midnight struck, the forest fell silent. Not a sound. Then he heard footsteps, soft, deliberate, circling his camp. He turned his flashlight toward the noise, and a man stepped into the light. Pale skin, black veins, crimson eyes. "Dr. Crow?" Gabriel asked, trembling. The man smiled, a hollow, unnatural expression. "Names bind," he said in a voice that wasn't human. The flashlight flickered, and Gabriel felt his cross burn against his chest. The thing, wearing Crow's face, stepped closer, its form flickering like smoke. "You seek to banish me," it whispered. "But I am already here." The wind screamed, and the forest erupted in chaos. Shadows rose from the ground like living creatures, wrapping around Gabriel as he chanted frantically. He felt his body being pulled apart, not torn physically, but spiritually, unraveling piece by piece. His last sight was the burning red glow spreading through the forest like wildfire. The next morning, hikers found his camp empty, his Bible opened to a page with the words "Deliver us" from evil burned into it. The page smelled faintly of iron. Over time, Alban Hollow became a myth again, but the entity never stopped. It moved with the wind, seeding madness in those who sought it, whispering in the ears of the curious, drawing them to the same ground where it had first been awakened. Each ritual repeated the last, a loop feeding itself, expanding the circle. Modern explorers, paranormal investigators, and thrill seekers came and vanished. Some footage remained. Blurry videos showing flashes of red light and a shadowed figure in the trees. Audio clips filled with layered whispers saying, "You are the offering." Online forums dubbed it the Hollow Curse, while occult communities called it the Seventh Gate. But one truth remained constant. Those who learned too much disappeared. In 2025, a documentary team arrived to film an exposé titled Evil Ritual, the Forbidden Prayer of Alban Hollow. They laughed off the legends, setting up cameras inside what they believed to be the old chapel's remains. That night, as they rolled footage, one of their microphones began picking up a low hum. "It's just feedback," the sound engineer said. But the hum turned into a chant, backward words, layered and distorted. The candles they placed began to flicker in sync with the audio. Their lead investigator, Lila, looked directly into her camera and whispered, "Something's moving in the corner." Before anyone could react, every camera feed went black except one. The final shot captured a figure standing behind Lila, its hand on her shoulder, its eyes glowing red. She turned, screamed, and the feed cut. The footage leaked online weeks later. Experts claimed it was fake. But when a linguist analyzed the reverse chant, he identified ancient Akkadian phrases referencing an awakening beneath the serpent seal. No one could explain how a modern team would know words lost for thousands of years. Now those who have watched the video claim to dream of a chapel, of whispers in the dark, of eyes watching through cracks in the earth. Some wake with nosebleeds, others with strange symbols burned into their skin. Online forums warn users not to watch the full version. It's a summoning key, one post reads. The ritual doesn't need blood anymore. It just needs attention. Somewhere, beneath the layers of forgotten soil, the thing that was once asleep now feeds on human curiosity, spreading through every retelling, every click, every whisper of its name. In the distance, in a place that should not exist, a faint red glow burns eternally, and from deep underground, a voice waits to be heard again. The offering continues.